The program Victoria is here with all the business and some startling news about the state of gender equality in the world, Victoria.
Yeah, some really unusual news. The World Economic Forum says that the income gap between men and women is so bad it would take 170 years to achieve equality. We're going to be hearing from the WEF in just a few minutes' time. See you soon. Now, it can be easy to think that things have really improved for women around the world. For instance, Forbes thinks that there's about 190 female billionaires and that the world's biggest economy, well, it could soon be run by a woman. But dig a little deeper, and the situation is actually pretty unsettling. The World Economic Forum says that the financial gap between men and women is greater now than at any time since 2008, and believes, would you believe this, it would take 170 years to achieve equality. Well, with me now is Saadia Zahidi, who's the head of employment and gender at the World Economic Forum. This is really depressing.
Yeah, the pace of change has really slowed down in the last 3 to 4 years in particular, and I think there's 3 reasons why that's happening. One, of course, the financial crisis slowed down growth in many large economies around the world, and so of course if there's this gap already, that's going to close a little slower. The second aspect is we're at the cusp of the 4th Industrial Revolution, and what technology is doing to jobs is actually going to have a pretty stark change for women as compared to men, and that's because a lot of the low to mid-skilled positions, low to mid-skilled white-collar jobs, administrative functions, sales functions that women used to be very present in, those are going to be more automated than they were before. And then the third aspect is, of course, in most advanced economies, there just simply isn't the care infrastructure that both women and men need to be able to balance work and family.
I want to pick up on your point about technology and the fact that this might be, you know, a bit of a hindrance to the progress of women. One would imagine that things like smartphones, for example, and the access to them would be, you know, a leveler. It would mean that women have access to communication, they've got access to services and facilities, products that they wouldn't otherwise be able to have. Is that just not the case?
I think what that's doing is it's changing the conversation. Certainly you can see there's this momentum around gender equality. There's a lot more conversation about it. But that technology hasn't actually been integrated into how we do work in most workplaces around the world. There isn't that ability to work flexibly. There isn't that ability to use this technology to change how people are working. And so the organizational structures are still going to have to catch up. And I think most of the change is really going to have to come from the care infrastructure and taking a more strategic approach to what those jobs are that are going to be growing. In most advanced economies, women are not going, for example, into STEM professions. And so they're not ready to...
Just explain what you mean by that.
So science, technology, engineering, and math, that means most of them are not actually ready to kind of take charge and run with the opportunities that are coming because of the 4th Industrial Revolution.
Where do you think should we see, you know, the real progress being made here? Should it be governments? Should it be legislature? Should it be private businesses or charities? Or is it up to the individual?
You know, what's interesting is that a lot of private businesses, the large multinationals, have recognized the issue because women are the majority of those that are coming out of universities in almost, you know, most of the world. Most of the skilled talent today, especially the younger skilled talent today, is already female. So most large multinationals are starting to put a lot of changes in place. What's going to have to change is the publicly provided care infrastructure, and that's really up to governments. And of course, individuals, women, men, are going to have to make different choices than they have in the past.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. Really interesting statistics. That is it from the business news from me. Plenty more throughout the rest of the day. See you very soon.
Victoria, thank you so much.